You have the Clarity bill, you have the Genius bill, you have the stablecoin bill. All these bills are there to change the financial landscape of what is about to come. What are you doing right now to protect your money, your retirement, from all these CBDC-like systems that is already track tracing and controlling you? Even more so with the AI revolution that we're in right now. We've been talking about this for so long now, and we are effectively helping clients protect their money, secure their retirement, get out of red money, support your values, support America, and not this CBDC system. They masked it as ESG, they masked it as DEI, they masked it as all these things, but at the end of the day, it's all about track, trace, and control. Been a financial advisor for 20 years now. We know what we're doing, and we want to help God-fearing patriots secure their retirement. God bless. Click the link below if you would like to have a conversation.
Jekyll Island, November 1910. 7 bankers meeting in secret to create America's central bank. We just can't call it that.
The 1907 panic nearly destroyed us. Banks failed, fortunes vanished.
We want to control America's money supply, create booms, trigger busts, and profit from both. And how will we do that?
We'll create money from nothing, loan it to the government, and charge interest. Legal counterfeiting, my friends.
But there's a cost. Every dollar we print steals value from existing dollars. It's a hidden tax that flows directly to us.
And it gets worse. If we ever get off the gold standard, governments can print money for wars. Endless wars become possible and profitable.
Since Americans hate central banks, we'll call it the Federal Reserve. Sounds governmental, doesn't it? It's not.
The president will appoint board members, but we'll pick who he appoints. We'll have 12 regional banks. Looks decentralized, democratic even, but New York banks control them all. That's us.
You're probably wondering how we're going to get this through Congress.
December 23rd, 1913. Most of Congress home for Christmas. Perfect timing for passing unpopular legislation. I'll publicly oppose our own bill in Congress. They'll pass it thinking they beat Wall Street. We'll fund university chairs, write the textbooks. They'll teach our system as economic science. Beautiful. Every American born after this will inherit debt on money we created from nothing. Generational servitude. The Federal Reserve. Not federal, no reserves. But everyone will think it's their government protecting them.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street. I appreciate you liking and following us on our Rumble channel. If you haven't, what are you doing? I don't even know where this show is going to be in the future. So definitely go to rumble.com and for sure click the like and subscribe, because I will always put content there as my base. And so I say that because there's things changing on my end. So I want to make sure that you guys are always in the know. Doesn't matter which network I'm in. I'll always be here giving content on my Rumble channel. So go to rumble.com, type in my name, Carlos Cortez, or actually, I'm sorry, type in Scriptures in Wall Street and give us a like and follow there. Doesn't cost you anything. It helps us to monetize. As you guys know, I always will provide content when it comes to the markets from a biblical standpoint, from America First standpoint. So if that's you, if that resonates with you, then obviously go to rumble.com and just give us a like and subscribe. So this weekend, I want to just talk about like the Fed. What are they doing? Like, how do you guys feel about the Fed inclining that they're going to finally lower interest rates? What does that mean? Well, let's take a little dive into that. So one of the things I do know, since the 1950s, we've had over 12 recessions. And every single recession that we've had has because basically an uninverted yield curve or inverted yield curve. So when that yield curve is inverted, it's actually the process of when it uninverts. So for those of you that don't know or don't remember, you have a 2-year and a 10-year, right? So your 2-year typically pays, shorter, a shorter coupon, a lower coupon than a 10-year coupon. So for instance, for many for many months, literally 2 years. That 2-year was paying 4.25 and a 10-year was paying about 4.19. That was an inverted yield curve. That basically tells foreign investors that we don't have strength long term. And it's a huge, it's like the guarantee. I can't say the word guarantee, but it is such a huge reflection on the economy. It's such a huge tell sign of what is to come. And so when we have an inverted yield curve, it's not the uninverted yield curve that gives us the recession, or it is a leading indicator. It definitely alarms the economy and every trader and every financial professional saying, yo, there's something brewing up here. Let's do something about it. But the ones that know, or if you know, right? It's actually when it normalizes and it has a standard slope. That's when the problems occur. And so just now we have a normalized yield curve. The 10-year is paying 4.265 and that 2-year is paying 3.6. So it's a positive spread of 57 basis points is what we call it. So it is now upward sloping. The 30-year still remains high at 4.88. And it's reinforcing that we have a normal yield curve. Guys, if we look back since 1950, every recession we've had, this has happened. I'm not predicting a false flag. I'm not predicting anything. All I'm saying is that this is an indication, a massive indication that a recession is to come. For those of you that have called, you've worried about this time and this day frame that it might be time to be diligent here. There is something brewing. He's like, I can't feel it. I can feel it. I can't picture it, but the market's too high. This is not sustainable. Something seems odd. Like the NASDAQ can't continue to completely rise, or the stock market can't completely to rise. Like the American dollar is weakening. Inflation is through the roof. They can't even control inflation. Like you probably feel this, but you can't quantify it. You can only qualify it. When you go to the pump, when you go to Publix, when you go to your grocer, when you pay for your laundry detergent, when you pay for your laundry dry cleaning, whatever it is. Like now, service has gone up. Like the PPI index is going down. The wholesale costs. This is not conspiracy theory. This is actual facts. The PPI is going up. And so when Jerome Powell was speaking, he was alluding to, and that was probably his last speech, by the way, he was alluding to that the PPI is showing signs of inflation and that we need to do something about it. You think? A little late to the game, as you know. So the market's reacting. The market's reacting that we have a positive outcome when it comes to lowering interest rates. And so that's why you see that bump this week in the NASDAQ. I told you guys the NASDAQ would do very well if they signal lowering interest rates, if they lower interest rates. So that tone basically has everybody looking in September to make sure they do lower those interest rates, which is right around the corner. And even though they're signaling they're going to lower interest rates, does that really mean that they are? Like I said, I can't say the word guarantee, but pretty much he laid the ground for a lower interest rate environment. So September, October, November, December, and January is what they're thinking. They might hit it up with 50 basis points right up front. They might just do 25 basis points, but the sentiment is about a 1% to 1.5% rate cut overall. So I think they're going to probably do at least 3 or 4, at least quarter basis points. I could be wrong. But we'll see. And so I'm actually more concerned about the real estate. The real estate, once those interest rates lower, you are going to see so many buyers get back in the market fighting for all of these properties that are now, home sellers are literally selling at a discount because they need to get rid of it. Maybe the HOA is too high. Maybe the taxation sucks. Maybe you have Airbnb and got blown through a hurricane and you're a New Yorker and you don't have the money to fix it, or you don't want to fix it, or you don't even care enough to fix it. So we see a lot of that here in Florida. But inventory is up like 70%. Just go on your Zillow and do a search anywhere in Florida. There's a sea of red everywhere. It's insane. All that is going to flip in the next few months here. So if you're looking at real estate and you have the ability to finance, or you have the ability to whip out the cash and buy a home, probably a good time to do it in the next 30 to 60 days quickly, because these interest rates are going to come down. People are already working on their credit score, so they get their highest rate or the best rate based on their credit. And the mortgage brokers are going to be insanely busy in the next 2 quarters. So just heads up there. Also, when they lower interest rates, I'm a little worried about the banks too, because the banks are going to probably call those bonds back and redo them. And if that's the case, or these companies may call these bonds back that are convertible, and that's going to have a ripple effect on the banks. So you'll see a lot of losses being taken off before the year end in Q3, and that could bring the markets down. So the uninversion is where the problem's at. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that we're uninverted right now. We're basically normal. It is flat right now. So flat is another probable sign that something's about to come. So basically, there's really not a big spread from a 2-year to a 5-year to a 10-year. Obviously, there's a big spread from the 30 to the 2-year. That's normal. But when you have a flat yield curve, it's problematic. It really is problematic. And so the yield curve, the reason why I keep focusing on the yield curve inversion is probably the most accurate and reliable recession indicator in the toolkit. You know, you can look at the jobs report and obviously unemployment numbers. Those are all good signs. So yeah, the jobs report in July 2025, they add here. Let me look at my notes here. They added 73,000 jobs, and it was below expectations. But more importantly, May and June, they were pretty much revised down with a combined of 258,000, signaling a slowdown. Also, unemployment rose from 4.1 to 4.2. So we had an uptick in unemployment. Consumer staples or consumer sentiment. Basically, the whole index backed by Michigan says that it's down 58.6 from 61%, which is a 5% drop. So 5% of the whole economy basically lost interest in just consumer spending and the consumer confidence, right? So these are all little indicators that add up. They're called evidence tracking indicators. So what is the evidence that the recession is coming? All right, so we have consumer, obviously the CPI, we have the PPI, we have unemployment, we also have consumer confidence. These are just basic indicators, but one of the best ones is the inverted yield curve. Having an inverted yield curve has a high probability that a recession is to come, typically within 6 to 24 months. Is what the business school taught me. It's been kind of weird and fabricated ever since COVID, with AI and robots, and everything just seems delayed and weird and fake. And so it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, we're in a recession, it's coming, because everything is so manipulated. Even for me, it's like I can't come up with the reason why. I just know the basic reasons, and I can only use my discernment and know that everything is manipulated, from the Social Security to the IRAs, to the stock market, to the mutual funds, to the banks, to the daggone reports. Like, we can't even trust the reports that are coming out. I don't even know if these notes are even legit, right? Because I don't even trust the source anymore, which is the federal government. And how do we know that whoever's feeding the federal government is legit? And that is a legit question, because there are people getting arrested, there are people getting in trouble for faking these reports. So we have to be diligent. That doesn't mean that we are scared. It doesn't mean that we're going to live in fear. Just plan. And so that's what I do. And so red money, when you have money in the red money bucket, These are the things you have to worry about. You have to worry about, you basically have to worry about having your money at risk at all times. You have to worry about losing principal. You have to worry about, do I have enough income? You have to worry about the fees. You have to worry about so much because you're in red money. And now is the time, biblically speaking, now's the time to have principal protection. Because the wisdom side about this says in Proverbs 27:12, the prudent see danger, take refuge, but simple keep going and pay the penalty. So if you're passive and simple, you're going to get your ass kicked. It's biblical. You're just going to get kicked in the nads. But if you're proactive and you see the danger and you take refuge according to Proverbs 27:12, you have to understand that it is time. It is time to take action because that yield curve has been uninverted. And here we are. What is to come? Well, only you can decide that. You guys seen what has happened? So in 1999, the yield curve uninverted. Look what happened in 2001. In 2007, the yield curve uninverted. Look what happened in 2008. In 2019, the yield curve uninverted. You know what happened in 2020. In 2025, the yield curve has inverted after being inverted for 2 years. What is going to happen in 2026? This statistic has been accurate since 1950s. Every single time that yield curve has uninverted and normalized, we have seen a major market correction. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to happen by year end. All I'm saying is that these are the facts. This is not fear mongering. And as I said in Proverbs, or as Proverbs says, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. It's a lot easier to look at your statement. Oh, okay. Just throw it away. It's a lot simple to do that. Or maybe you're like this. Someday I'll call him. Someday I will get there. Someday I'll look at it. It's all right. Oh, shucks. It's down 20, 30%. It'll come back up. And then it gets smaller and then smaller. And next thing you know, it's gone. Literally, people do that with their money because they're just sick and tired of looking at it. Don't let that be you. Please let me help you. I have a team here that is awesome at what they do. All you got to do is give us a call, 813-448-3446. Let's get your money working for you. Let's get some green money solutions, some green money strategies that can protect your principal regardless of what the market does, regardless of the interest rates, regardless of the inverted yield curve. We know how to make money off of it. We have transitional indexes that can fluctuate from NASDAQ to commodities to treasuries to S&P 500 on a day-to-day basis. So you can go and do what you want to do as a God-fearing patriot. You want to enjoy taking your kids to school or watching them play or be at work and just enjoy your work and your family. Do not worry about your money. You don't have to. But now is not the time to be that passive person. Now is time biblically to seek refuge because the prudent see the danger and take refuge. But the simple keep going and pay the penalty. A lot of people walk around and say, oh, I'm a simple gal. I'm a simple guy. That's not going to win here. That's not going to win here. It's time for you to take initiative. A lot of you call and you're beautiful people. Like you mean well. You're like my type of people. Like I don't even know you and I already love you because you mean well. You're passionate about the cross. You're passionate about America. You're passionate about your family values. You're passionate about doing the right thing for your children. Like I love that. But now It's me talking to you that I'm passionate about helping you because I know the street. I know what's out there. And most of the time, you could do better. You don't have to fund all this stuff that you dislike and disapprove. You don't have to work with an advisor that doesn't believe in what you believe in. Like, it shouldn't be a weird conversation to be vulnerable and transparent and authentic with your advisor. This is the guy or gal that is leading you to retirement, and you can't even talk about the vaccine. You can't even talk about God and what painful experiences you've grown out of. You can't even reflect with your advisor. You can't even have a doctrinally sound conversation with them. Guys, it is not about performance. I mean, the performance is going to be there, but it is about being one with yourself, your values, and God, and having an advisor that just can support your framework. And so that's what we do here. I have another advisor that I work with. I can't talk to everybody, but I picked him, I molded him, basically trained him so he could be like a clone of mine. His name's Josh. He's amazing at what he does. And I'm adding others because we're growing. But I'm very, very selective. And I want you to have an experience. We've had another advisor that just didn't fit the system, and I had to let him go. And I apologize. I apologize to our listeners. So if that was you, give us another shot. We want to help you. We want to really, really be there for you and give you the best advice possible that caters to your values, not to your feelings, but to your values. Because look, I'm not here to cater to your feelings. I'm here to protect your money and grow it. Sometimes your feelings don't matter. And when it comes to the money, my job is to protect your money, not your feelings. Some of you, that's really hard to understand, but that's where I draw the line. There's a lot of victim mindset people out there, and we just try to avoid that. This is why I say I don't do business with Democrats or liberals. I would say it's because that whole system is based on being a victim, and we just don't want that culture here. We want to work with like-minded people, and if that's you, give us a call. We're really good at what we do, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it.
You have the clarity bill, you have the genius bill, you have the stablecoin bill. All these bills are there to change the financial landscape of what is about to come. What are you doing right now to protect your money, your retirement, from all these CBDC-like systems that is already track tracing and controlling you? Even more so with the AI revolution that we're in right now. We've been talking about this for so long now, and we are effectively helping clients protect their money, secure their retirement, get out of red money, support your values, support America, and not this CBDC system. They masked it as ESG, they masked it as DEI, they masked it as all these things, but at the end of the day, it's all about track, trace, and control. Been a financial advisor for 20 years now. We know what we're doing, and we want to help God-fearing patriots secure their retirement. God bless. Click the link below if you would like to have a conversation.
So one of the things that I do want to do a screen share on real quick is this AI talkness and madness. It really is changing everything. And if you heard the intro to Scriptures in Wall Street, I used AI to make music. I mean, AI is just taking over. This is why the NASDAQ is going to continue to rise, because we simply have the ability for computers to do our jobs. Pretty soon I'll be out of a job. I mean, the way AI is going, like, it's going to be better looking than me, probably have a better voice than me, and a whole lot smarter than I am. That's for sure. And maybe you're listening to a robot instead of like an actual human being. I don't know where this is going, guys, but I could kind of tell you that AI literally is taking over every single sector, right? I will tell you that AI won't have the emotional intelligence that a human being does. And it's still kind of awkward. So we're not there yet. I bet the military has all this stuff. that it's smart like that. But it's all speculation. I don't want to speculate right now. I hate speculating. I can only discern and back it up with charts. So the bro investors, they keep talking about AI. I want to show this segment real quick on Woke Yahoo.
They've been flung wide open, but everyone is rushing to the same two merch booths. That would be NVIDIA and Microsoft. In today's Stocks in Translation, we're going to show how to play the AI game with ETFs and also how to avoid too much concentration in the usual names. First, a quick refresher on what an exchange-traded fund actually is. An ETF is a fund that holds a basket of stocks and sometimes other things like bonds or commodities, but trades like a single stock all day long. It's a simple idea and a fast way to own an index like the S&P 500 or a theme like AI. Now take a look at all these AI ETFs, 23 in all, with 4 added this year alone. The performance is year to date, and keep in mind some of these names haven't been around that long. Now, according to Todd Sohn, CMT at Strategas ETF Research, who I'm going to lean on heavily for this presentation, they have nearly $17 billion in assets, and most of them, 16, have come after ChatGPT has become mainstream. Now, take a look at this chart that shows the total AI ETF count as it has evolved since the very first one in 2016, which was the Global X Robotics and AI ETF. Since 2023, this line gets very steep, showing huge institutional buying interest. Now, this gets into the product for markets like investors, and if anything, it shows that we're still in the early innings when it comes to building out AI funds. Now, this chart here is what's called a scatter plot. Each dot is one of the 23 ETFs, and the higher it's positioned vertically, the more money it has, or assets under management. And from left to right, it's just the timing of when they were introduced. And that's the same data as we were looking at in the previous chart. Now you can see that the line shows where the ChatGPT era began, and it captures about 70% of the number of ETFs. What you're also going to notice is that older funds towards the left, they tend to be the biggest. They have the most assets. But there are a few exceptions, as we have some newcomers toward the right of the chart that are getting pretty big pretty quickly, like 2 iShares ETFs, along with the Dan Ives Wedbush AI Revolution ETF, ticker is IVES, and it's not every day that an analyst gets their own ETF. Now, take a look at the money flowing into these funds. This chart by Strategas goes all the way back to 2021, and it uses a 65-day rolling window to look at flows into this group of funds. All you really need to focus on is how the line representing flows is accelerating recently at the right side of the chart. But AI isn't just chips and software. This chart here tracks flows into utilities and infrastructure ETFs, the power, the pipes, and the data backbone. Flows aren't soaring quite as much as a prior chart, but they're definitely heating up and approaching the top end of their historical range. This is what we call the picks and shovels angle for AI. Now, we need to address the issue of concentration. The picks and shovels trade we were just looking at can be a good way to diversify, because if we now look at the original group of 23 AI funds, we see a lot of familiar names popping up in their holdings. That would be NVIDIA, Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, Oracle, Amazon, even Palantir. On average, it's the 23 AI ETFs we've been looking at. Inside them, the NVIDIA weighting runs about 6% and Microsoft about 4%, so 10% total, and that's just an average. But some of these ETFs have no exposure to the big names, and weightings can vary drastically. So the bottom line is, when buying any ETF, always do your homework, please. And remember, if you already own passive funds that track the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100, you already have a lot of exposure to the big AI companies. So search for the holdings in the ETFs that you're thinking of buying, and don't forget the picks and shovels angle.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, because we've been talking about AI, obviously. So we want to make sure, guys, that you are too over correlated. So a lot of you have NASDAQ funds, have S&P 500 funds, have mutual funds, and then you go and buy a ETF like BOTZ, like BOTZ or AIQ. These are some of the top ETF funds, or ARTI, and we'll look at that here shortly. So let's go ahead and go and check out some of these ETFs on the AI side. Look, we know QQQ is pretty amazing, right? If you got the QQQs, you're already in AI because of the Magnificent Seven. But these particularly are some of the top ones in the AI space. And here we go. Like we're seeing a little bit of sell-off on RD. For those of you that are trying to get into the AI space, this is one ETF that has pretty much done very well since April and has taken off. We do see bullish power here. Now, RD does have a combination. It's up about 20, almost 30% year to date. Does have expense ratio about 0.68. So it's not a free account, and it has about $4.5 billion in under management. So it's a big fund, very, very popular. The other one, so right now, this is, you're buying at an all-time high. We're starting to see a slowdown here. So I would look for this. If we do have a slowdown, I would look somewhere in the $29 range. Right now it's trading around 41. So just be on a lookout. I'll put it on my list to keep on looking at. I may want to short this bad boy if we do have a recession. It'll be interesting. All these AIs will come down. Big tech always comes down, but it always comes right back up. So it'll be pretty cool to trade it on the upside and downside. Now, some of the top holdings on RD is going to be Palantir, AMD, Broadcom, Meta platforms. So pretty heavy in actual digital AI, and there's also BOTC bots, which is going to focus more on robotics. So you're talking about like the household robotics, the just all these robotics that are out right now. So we did get a buy signal yesterday on the 22nd, and this might be a good trade. We've had some red lights here. We have some downtrend. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I'm going to take a look at bots. So my software signaling a buy signal. Again, this is not a recommendation. This is for information education purposes only. I'm not giving advice. If you invest in red money or stocks, you could lose money if you are investing something with no downside protection. This is a volatile ETF. Now, it's exchange traded fund, so it's a basket of stocks. So with this one, bots, this one has about $2.9 billion. As compared to the RD fund. So you have RD, ARTY, I just showed you, and also bots. And the other one is going to be, again, this is not investment advice. I'm just talking about it because it's pretty popular. I want you guys to understand that, hey, there's an ETF that if you're trying to buy AI, this might be the way to do it. Now, there's one called AIQ, and we still get a buy signal pretty much on the same date. All right, right now it's trading at 44.94, and this one's up about 29.8%, has about 68 basis points, 0.68 in expenses, and has about $4.5 billion in management. So the holdings on this one is Palantir, AMD, Broadcom, and Meta platforms as well. So pretty strong positioning here with the red lights fading out. We have a momentum builder here that look like it's about to hit this top purple line here. So we have a lot of push here. I might be buying a call option on this one. If I get these little green boxes here, look for me to talk about some option calls here. So I really like this ETF, man, because AI takes off. You are going to be the benefactor in the AIQ, the RD, and bots. And so a bonus one, WTAIA, the Wisdom Tree one. Wisdom Tree is a huge fund, great mutual fund company. When I started with in the business 20 years ago, they were just killers, man. They were back then with the Magellan funds. So this has a buy signal. Isn't that something? All three have a buy signal. All three on the same daggone dates. So the AI is going to take off. We have a lower pressure here. We have momentum, just boom. And a lot of this was that Fed announcement, or I'm sorry, the Fed speech from Powell because of the tariffs and the chips. Everything's lining off. The NASDAQ will continue to rise. So here's the deal, guys. The NASDAQ, I've said it since the early days, since every podcast. I've said that technology and healthcare will always get us out of recession. And we see that here because AI is leading in technology. Like We now have the ability to make money off of AI inside of a safe money solution. So this is going to be interesting, guys, because as we talk about AI and it taking over, we look at Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin correlated with AI? Well, you would think so. But we're starting to see a major slowdown in Bitcoin. And this is what Bitcoin does. Like if you look at the history of Bitcoin, it's going to obviously average about 40% a year, but not before it drops 50 to 80%. So if you look at the historicals on Bitcoin, so we see a lot of volatility with Bitcoin. I got a sell box here. That doesn't mean that we sell short. What it basically means is if you bought my green box here, the sell is basically saying, hey, let's take off our profit because it is weakening. So we have a weakening power on Bitcoin. Now, this is kind of like the opposite. Is Bitcoin going to be our inverted yield curve as opposed to what the inverted yield curve is to the stock market? Is Bitcoin going to be the leading indicator of what big tech is going to be? Well, Bitcoin started slowing down back in June. Like it went up and then it started slowing down back late June, early July. And we've seen a little bit of sell-off, not too big. It's holding steady, but there's definitely no momentum going up. Now, this is short-term, guys. I'm not talking about long-term. Long-term, Bitcoin's going to go probably to $250,000. So this is BitU. This is the leverage ETF for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's too expensive, you can look at BitU. And BitU is basically 2 times Bitcoin, the average. So pretty amazing. Now, if you want to look at Bitcoin itself, look at BTC. Yeah, and that trillion, it's holy cows, 2.3 trillion marketplace. So yeah, we're starting to see that sell-off I just talked about. So this is the raw Bitcoin, and we're starting to see a downward pattern since late July, and it is coming down. So we could see a correction in Bitcoin. We're in that middle space of the Bollinger Band now. I'm a weekly chart. Typically, when it hits this band, it pops back up, or it goes and finds a new support level, which it already did, and it will come back up, but it'll probably come down to this close moving average, and we'll get a death cross here. So I had a sell pattern, which basically tells us that when you bought it here, now it's time to sell. But I have a buy signal back in August 7th, and it did pop up. It did pop up, but now I'm starting to see a sell. So this is a great trading asset class if you want to trade it. Of course, many of you aren't traders. You don't have time to trade. This is something that I enjoy personally on the side. And I think your advisor should know the basics of trading so that he or she can give you advice on where the market's going. Like you should ask them, hey, where's the market going? What's my standard deviation? What'd you do in 2008? How'd you make out in 2020? What'd you invest in 2020? These are some of the things that you should be asking. And if they're giving you like, oh, well, our mutual funds have done well, our ETF buy and hold, man, fire that joker. Fire them, man. That is the dumbest response. Like there is so much opportunity than just be sitting around and doing nothing. Like it's biblical. The simple is passive, and they're the ones that pay the price. Like it's biblical now. Proverbs 27:12. The prudent see the danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. So I mean, it's biblical. Like you got to do something with your money because we want to be stewards of our money. We want to make smart decisions. We want our family to win. We are supposed to be the head and not the tail. And that doesn't mean you have to stand behind a computer and look at everything and look at all the charts and look at all the podcasts and overwhelm yourself of being a financial trader. No, I'm not saying that. But you need to hire people that know how to do that. And that's what we can do. We can literally protect and grow your money. This is all I've done. This is what I'm called to do. I tell you my whole aim right now in 15 seconds. My aim literally is not to worry about my own income. My aim literally is to use the charts, use my gifts for money and building wealth so that you and I can have a conversation about it. In exchange, my aim is to represent Jesus as my Lord and Savior. If I can say the word Jesus to you and ask you, do you know who he is? Then I've done my job. I've done my job. I don't care if you do business with me or not, because I use money to get to the cross, because money is my topic. Money is what I'm actually good at and passionate about, like the trading and the retirement planning side of it. It's not because I love money. I just like the way it works, the art behind it, the economics of it, and I understand it better than most. And I want to consult with you. I want to consult with how money could grow your assets, how money basically works, and so that you can grow with some of the strategies that have worked for me at a young age. And I don't even have a lot of money. I'm pretty smart with it when it grows to it. I'm not like this crazy billionaire you guys think. I've worked. I come from a poor family, so everything I have is is self-made, man. So it is time to have your money working for you. I'm going to be introducing some pretty cool investments I think are going to be very beneficial to all. And some of it's not in the market. Some of it's not in gold and silver. Some of it is actually alternative investments that have risk, that will provide income, that you don't have to be there, that are completely passive. That is technology based. One of the things that that all this is coming in, as you know, AI is taking over. Everybody needs a phone. So AI and phone tangible assets are going to be the future. Everybody's going to need to have access to portable batteries and electronics and charging on demand. So there's a huge space for that right now. And I'm testing out a whole business model to roll out to you guys so that you can make $10, $20, $30,000 a month, depending how much you put in. Of course, I'm putting my own assets in. I want to test it out. I want to show you my dashboard. I want to show you every single dollar because that is what I am. That's what I do. I do not recommend anything, or I don't even talk about anything that I don't put my money in, period. I just care that much about people's situation. I don't want you to be a Walmart greeter, and I want you to know who Jesus is. That's just my whole aim. I get my dividends. My treasures are stored in heaven, and they never will fail. Uh, I get to talk about God. I get to talk about the cross and what he has done for me. And the money comes second. Like, as long as my aim is to the cross, God just takes cares of us. He does. It's the Malachi 3 rights. So I'm just real thrilled about that, and helping you guys, because there's so much opportunity. I can't wait for the Inner Circle program to come out. I can't wait for the passive income program to come out. Just so many cool things coming up for 2025, 2026. But also, interest rates are going down. Let's take a look at one of my babies. Look, I could take a complete goose egg on this one, and I'm okay with it. Right now, I'm looking pretty bad, though. I'm looking really bad. I've been looking bad all year with this trade. So I was talking about this when it was at 50. And many of you bought it at 50. And guess what? We're down a good 25 to 40%, maybe even 50% on this TMF. This is nothing but an insurance on your stocks. So if you have stocks and you don't want to invest in anything, but you want to hedge, TMF would be a good idea. Again, not investment advice, not a recommendation. But when they lower interest rates, the bond prices will go up. This is the 20-year treasury. Now, the 20-year treasury is a little different. It not really correlated to the lowering interest rates. It's more correlated to inflation. Inflation goes up, these bond prices will go up as well. It is how the Fed reacts to. It's basically monetary policy sensitive. So we just want to be careful with this one. That is not so promissory. I don't want to be too promissory, but this is a risky trade, guys. It has been. If you took it, you lost money. And I said you could lose money. Don't put money that you cannot afford to lose. Also, don't put money that you're okay not having access for 6 to 12 months, because if we're buying a 6-month call option, now we only have like 4 months for the January 2026 calls, the 50 calls. But when they lower interest rates, look for this puppy to do well. We got a sell signal back in early August 6th. Then we got a sell bar here on the 19th. So it's probably going to come down to a little more. So we're going to lose a little more money, right? Hey, if it goes down to like 29, 30, man, I'm buying some more. So now we have the ability to invest in a QQQ index that you can buy and literally track with the index with volatility control and the ability to have protection. So we have access to a product that has a very similar index like this that will give you a 23% bonus tomorrow. So if you're down in the markets from last year, maybe you were safe and you stayed in the stock market, and maybe you're down 28% because the bond market has been terrible with the rising interest rates. Now we have the ability in your state to get a 23% bonus. I can't say the A-rated carrier, I can't say their names or like, all these indices, but I'm telling you right now, I have access. While interest rates are still hot, give me a call. We can get you a 23% bonus with 0.95 annual fee. Very, very, very affordable. Less than 1% while your advisor is calling you. And you'll never, ever lose a penny. Your money should double every 4 to 6 years. You have the ability to take out 10% a year. The indexing is incredible. Like, we are doubling your asset from a projection standpoint about every 4 to 6 years. You do not have to suffer buying and trading and holding in this crazy manipulated Luciferian stock market. All you got to do is give us a call, 813-448-3446. We want to help God-fearing patriots. For you, that means that you will have principal protection, that means that you will have the ability to sleep at night, to understand, hey, you know what? My money's working for me. And when the market's up, I'm going to be in the green. And when the market's down, I'm not going to lose nothing, period. There is so much power in that because it's safer than the stupid banks. It's safer than the FDIC scam. It's safer than the bank bail-in language that you see in the Dodd-Frank Act in 2010. It's so much safer than the average investor, what they're putting in the banks or in mutual funds or in stocks. It's so much prudent. And even in Proverbs, it talks about see the signs, see the dangers, take refuge. But the simple keep going and they pay the price. The simple are the ones that keep their money in the 401k, don't even listen to the signs and wonders. And the Bible says that we don't even know how to interpret it because we don't have the confidence to trust somebody. We don't have the confidence to even lean into anybody. And you say this excuse, I don't know who to talk to. That's a daggone lie. You've been listening to this podcast, so you're here for a reason by divine appointment, and I'm giving you an outlet. Me, as a financial steward for many retirees, I want to help you protect your principal. And it starts with a phone call, 813-448-3446. It only takes 10, 15 minutes to have a conversation, or you can go to cortezwm.com. Check us out. You can download a free guide at americafirstretirementplan.com. And we don't sell your information. Also, if you got a crap ton of money in a 401k and IRA, you probably don't own it, but you can go to corteztaxbill.com and see how much you really own in your IRA, because I promise you, it's not what you think. And so go to corteztaxbill.com. I created that website so you can understand the power of the taxation on your IRAs and 401ks, because you really don't own it when they're taxing you to hell in a handbasket. So don't be that simple guy that Proverbs 27:12 talks about. Be prudent, see the danger, and take refuge. That is very, very powerful. With that being said, guys, for a lot of you, you've been asking me, how am I losing weight? What am I doing? I actually have two companies I like right now. FixTheBloodUSA.com. My whole family was sick with COVID and that rhinovirus. I've been taking this, sprayed on my tongue 3 or 4 times. Doesn't taste all that good. It tastes like day old wine, but daggone, man, like I feel great. I didn't really even get sick. I just had allergies. That was it. My body was fighting it. And it's because I walk every day. It's because, I don't really work out intensely, but when I do, I have the time or make the time for it. I do try to tend to push myself to the limits. But we have now amazing peptides with GetMeLeanUSA.com. My favorite product is going to be that Fit because it is 4 times more than creatine on protein synthesis. It's all natural made, animal and plant-based. I love that it's America First company. You can buy and subscribe and cancel anytime. So go to GetMeLeanUSA.com, get your performance pack. Make sure you get the Fit and Lean if you're trying to lose weight. But if you're trying to build muscle, that's the best way to lose weight. Take a picture of me and my fat butt. I had man boobs. I'm still working on my stomach. It's flabby from all the weight I've lost, but I am a lot faster on the ice because of it. And all I'm doing is walking and eating a lot of chicken, a lot of steak, a lot of protein, because once we can lower our caloric intake and have a deficit and walk 2 times a day for 15 minutes, get on the phone, call your mom, call a buddy, be intentional, FaceTime them. Like, you can even buy a selfie stick and FaceTime and just talk for hours. You don't even need that. You just need 15 minutes. Get your butt out there, walk, get you some getmeleanusa.com, get some great products. They taste amazing. And just start losing weight. Be a better mom, be a better dad for your kids. It is time to step up physically, financially, and daggone spiritually, man. God has called you to be a gangster for the cross, a defender of the cross, a spiritual, violent man for the cross. We are not called to be wussies, and we sure as heck should not be looking like one. So get your game up, get your retirement up, your money game up, your spiritual game up. It all goes hand in hand, guys. When you get closer to the cross, he gives you the ability to have knowledge, to have favor, to have power, to walk in anointing, confidence. And that's what we want to do with all of our listeners. Whether you're female or male, you want to have that confidence, because we are called to be the salt and light. You can't grow from the couch. You can't grow if you don't have fruit. You cannot grow if you can't bear fruit and you're not connected to his word. You're not connected to him. So let's get connected. Let's continue to grow. Give us a call. We want to help you on the financial retirement side. Very passionate about what I do. Again, my name is Carlos Cortez. Been doing this for close to 20 years now. Actually, I need to stop saying that. For over 20 years. And give us a phone call, 813-448-3446. God bless you. If you ever have any feedback or you want me to talk about a certain subject, you can email me at info@cortezwm.com. Again, that was info@cortezwm.com. Be sure to like and subscribe our Rumble channel, because we'll be all over the place. And I want to make sure that if we ever get censored, or there's a disagreement on any of the networks, that you are able to follow us forever. Rumble.com, Scriptures in Wall Street. God bless you. I'm out of here, and I'm going to go spend my weekend with the kids.
Son of a soldier, drill sergeant strong, a passer for the kingdom, teaching right from wrong. That legacy runs deep, it burns in his veins. Discipline and faith, the fire remains. Gifted and chosen, with courage inside, a leader anointed with heaven.
So how many times have we gotten lost in the minutia of the everyday life? We've gotten fat, we've gotten lazy, we've gotten complacent, not just in our faith, but also our fitness, maybe our finances, maybe our marriage, maybe our family. But we've gotten complacent, and we constantly need to continue to grow. And one of the things I was weak at was in my fitness. As a former athlete, I thought I had it all. My ego got in the way. I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Up until now, I have been able to focus on my fitness. For those of you who've been following me for 3 or 4 years, you understand that I've gained a lot of weight. I've used the excuse of having 4 kids, a marriage, a business, helping out at church, all these excuses. And I keep putting myself in the back burner. This is deadly. And what I love about this company, what I love about taking ownership, is that getmeleanusa.com has the ability to introduce natural, groundbreaking peptides. What your body demands, what your body needs to release those fat stored cells, to build muscle, to gain your physical being back to where it's naturally supposed to be. We're not talking about big pharma saying we're going to come out with the weight loss drug. We're not talking about losing muscle. We're talking about gaining muscle, gaining your physique back, controlling your appetite, giving you the edge that you need to help you get your body back in check the way God intended it to be, by using his resources with America First products, with America First company that aligns and believes in what you believe in. Introducing getmeleanusa.com. Get in. This is going to be groundbreaking, huge, huge business opportunity as well as a huge groundbreaking technology that is going to change the landscape. So I know good things before I see it, and I highly recommend you get in. All you got to do is click the link below and get you some fit, get you some lean, and get fit and get lean. This is not going to do everything. Of course, diet and exercise, you continue your walking, continue your protein intake, but man, does it make it a whole lot easier to get in shape. Look at me, I've lost 60 pounds, but this is actually fundamentally a great recipe to get back in shape. And I can personally attest to the amazing effects of this product. So go to getmeleanusa.com. You won't regret it. You can cancel anytime. They're affordable and yet they're effective. And you are supporting our show. You're supporting yourself. You're supporting a mission. There is an affiliate program attached to it if you would want to share it with your friends and family. There's a whole nother opportunity there. But more importantly, let's get your fitness back in check. God bless you. Carlos Cortez here, signing out.